If you could travel through time, would you visit the future or fix the past? What if both options have already happened and you're the result of someone else's choice? Welcome to the Time Traveler's Handbook, a field guide for beings who think time is linear. Spoiler alert, it isn't. We're about to explore 3 theories that will make you question the very fabric of reality. So buckle up, because where we're going, we don't need roads, just an open mind. Our first theory is what I like to call the gods with bad Wi-Fi. Throughout history, ancient myths from every corner of the globe speak of gods descending from the sky. They were described as shining, all-powerful beings who taught humanity everything from agriculture to astronomy. But what if these weren't gods at all? What if they were simply time travelers, trying to upload a massive amount of knowledge through some seriously prehistoric bandwidth? Imagine this. You're a traveler from the 31st century. You land your temporal vehicle in, say, 2500 BC, armed with a quantum tablet containing the entire history and scientific knowledge of the human race. Your mission? To uplift early civilization and accelerate our progress. But there's a problem. There's no signal, no Wi-Fi, no cellular network, nothing. How do you transfer that data? You'd have to get creative. You might start by using the most advanced tools you have to build structures so geometrically precise they defy the technology of the era, like the pyramids. You'd be drawing complex schematics in the sand, carving star charts onto stone tablets, and maybe even using controlled energy to burn messages into the very landscape, like the Nazca lines. You're not building monuments to yourself. You're creating a hard drive. You're leaving behind files and hoping that future versions of your civilization, or perhaps even future versions of you, will eventually have the key to decode them. And all those divine descriptions, the halos of light surrounding them. Maybe that's just a mild radiation leak from their temporal suits. The miracles they performed, parting seas, or turning water into wine. Those could be glitches in the physics engine of an unstable timeline, momentary bugs caused by their presence. Every temple, every carving, every sacred geometry found in ancient sites. Maybe they're just patch notes. Log files from frustrated travelers, stuck in an era with terrible lag, trying to fix a timeline that keeps crashing. They weren't gods. They were the universe's first IT support team, doing their best with the tools they had. But if the gods of old were just time travelers with tech problems, what happens when humanity, thousands of years later, starts building the same kind of technology by accident? This brings us to our second theory, the memory machine. You've probably used time travel thousands of times today alone. You just call it memory. Think about it. Every time you remember something, the taste of your morning coffee, a conversation from last week, a childhood birthday, your brain isn't just pulling up a static file like a computer. It's actively reconstructing that moment from scratch, frame by frame, sensation by sensation. Neuroscientists even have a term for this: resimulation. Your brain is literally running a simulation of the past. Philosophers go a step further and call this a mental time travel. So here's the twist. What if your strongest, most vivid memories aren't just recollections? What if they are transmissions? Data packets sent from another version of you, living in a parallel timeline. Ever had a powerful feeling of déjà vu? That eerie sensation you've lived a moment before? Perhaps it's not a brain glitch, maybe it's a cross-timeline echo, a brief moment where your consciousness overlaps with another you who is experiencing the exact same thing. That gut feeling, your intuition telling you not to do something. Maybe it's not just a hunch. It could be cached data from a previous run-through where things didn't go so well, a warning from a timeline you already failed. In this model, consciousness itself isn't just awareness, it's the user interface. It's the dashboard of a biological time machine that we don't even realize we are piloting. Our choices create branching timelines, and our memories, dreams, and intuitions are the flickers of those other paths, bleeding through the veil. We're not just living one life, we're experiencing the aggregate data of thousands of them, all at once. Our very sense of self could be a composite of countless alternate realities. But if memory is a way of bending time inward, of accessing our own past, what happens when it bends too far? What if we start accessing someone else's? This leads us to our final and perhaps most unsettling theory. The travelers trapped in the loop. Some time travelers, the theory goes, never made it back. They didn't vanish into a paradox or get erased from existence. They just got stuck. They blended in. And you've probably met them. They're the people who swear they remember things differently. They remember movie lines that were never said, historical events that unfolded differently, or even brand logos that look wrong. They are the ones who feel deep in their bones that they were born in a different timeline, and that one day they just woke up here. They call this phenomenon the Mandela effect. But maybe it's not just a quirk of false memory. Maybe it's a support group for lost time travelers. Think of them as temporal castaways, debugging a reality that isn't their own. They notice the small changes because they remember the original source code. The problem is, every time one of them gets close to finding a way back, to building a device or triggering a paradox to escape, the timeline protects itself. It resets. It loops back to a stable point to maintain its own continuity, trapping them over and over again. The ultimate prison isn't a place with bars and walls. It's a repeating moment in time. A cosmic Groundhog Day, but with better graphics and far, far worse patch notes. These travelers are forced to live in a world that is almost, but not quite, their own. They're like a corrupted file in the operating system of reality, and the system keeps trying to isolate them. So, if you've ever had a dream of a life you've never lived, a feeling of profound homesickness for a place you've never been, maybe you're not just imagining it, maybe you're remembering your original save file. So, where does that leave us? From gods with bad internet, to memory as a time machine, to travelers lost in a looping reality, one thing becomes clear. Time is not the straight line we perceive it to be. The Time Traveler's Handbook has no final page because someone, somewhere, keeps rewriting it. Maybe it's them, maybe it's you, maybe it's the next version of you trying to send a message back. Either way, if you notice any strange glitches after watching this, don't panic. It just means you've been updated. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the impossible. If you enjoy bending your mind and questioning reality, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got a lot more to explore. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know who or when you might be.